Have you ever noticed how most people spend their lives running from the truth? They chase comfort instead of growth. They tell themselves there's still plenty of time, that life will eventually become fair, that success will come when the conditions are right. But what if I told you that the very beliefs giving you comfort today may be the things holding you back tomorrow? It's like a sailor drifting at sea who ignores the storm clouds on the horizon because the water is calm. For a while, everything feels fine, but when the storm finally arrives, he realizes the warnings were never the problem. Ignoring them was. Or think of a man standing before a mirror covered in dust. He keeps cleaning the room around him, wondering why nothing changes, never realizing the truth was right in front of him all along. Because the hardest truths are usually the most valuable ones. Nobody is coming to save you. Time is moving faster than you think. Some people will never like you, and many of the limits in your life aren't created by the world. They're created by the stories you keep telling yourself. The Stoics understood something most people never do. Reality becomes your greatest teacher the moment you stop resisting it. So in this video, we're going to explore 11 harsh truths that most people cannot accept. But those who do gain a level of wisdom, strength and freedom that others never find. Stay until the end, because the final truth may be the one that changes how you see your entire life. Let's get started. Number 1. Nobody is coming to save you. Let's talk about one of the harshest truths that most people spend years trying to avoid. Nobody is coming to save you. It sounds uncomfortable because deep down, many of us are waiting for something to happen. We wait for the perfect opportunity, the right relationship, a lucky break, or some life-changing moment that will finally put everything in place. We tell ourselves that things will get better when circumstances change. We imagine that one day someone will appear with the answers, the support, or the motivation we've been searching for. But the reality is far less comforting. The life you want is not waiting for someone else to build it for you. It's waiting for you to take responsibility for it. Here's the truth. Most people stay stuck because they spend more time waiting than acting. They wait for confidence before taking a risk. They wait for motivation before starting a goal. They wait for someone to believe in them before believing in themselves. But while they're waiting, life keeps moving. Days turn into months, months turn into years, and suddenly they find themselves in the exact same place, wondering why nothing has changed. The painful reality is that no opportunity, no mentor, and no miracle can do the work that only you can do. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about that for a moment. True freedom doesn't come from having the perfect circumstances. It comes from taking ownership of your choices, your actions, and your future. The moment you stop waiting for rescue is the moment you become powerful. Because when you accept responsibility for your life, you stop depending on things outside your control. Instead of asking, "Who will help me?" you start asking, "What can I do right now?" Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Michael, spent years blaming his situation on everything around him. He blamed his job, his family, the economy, and even bad luck. He constantly talked about the opportunities he never got and the people who never helped him. But one day something clicked. He realized that while he was waiting for someone to change his life, nobody was even thinking about it. Everyone else was busy dealing with their own problems. So Michael stopped waiting. He started learning new skills, saving money, and improving himself little by little. Nothing happened overnight. There was no dramatic breakthrough, but within a few years his entire life looked different. The only thing that changed was that he stopped expecting rescue and started taking responsibility. So what do you do with this truth? First, stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Second, take ownership of where you are right now, even if it's uncomfortable. Responsibility is heavy, but it's also empowering. And finally, remember that every small action matters. You don't need to fix your entire life today. You just need to take the next step. At the end of the day, nobody is coming to save you, and that's actually good news, because it means your future is not in someone else's hands. It means your growth, your success, and your peace are within your control. The moment you stop waiting for rescue is the moment you begin building the life you truly want. Number 2, life is not fair. Let's talk about one of the hardest truths for people to accept. Life is not fair. From a young age, many of us are taught to believe that if we're good, honest, and hardworking, Everything will eventually work out exactly as it should. We expect effort to be rewarded, kindness to be appreciated, and justice to prevail. But as we get older, reality has a way of challenging that belief. We see good people struggle while dishonest people succeed. We watch hard-working individuals get overlooked, while others seem to advance with ease. And when that happens, it's easy to become frustrated, bitter, and resentful. Here's the truth. Good people suffer and bad people sometimes prosper. That's not a flaw in life, it's simply how life works. The universe doesn't hand out rewards based on who deserves them most. It doesn't guarantee fairness, balance, or equal outcomes. Yet many people spend years fighting against this reality. They constantly ask, why is this happening to me? Or why do they have it easier than I do? The problem is that these questions rarely bring peace. Instead, they keep us trapped in anger over things we cannot control. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen." That's a powerful idea. It doesn't mean you should enjoy hardship or stop pursuing a better life. It means accepting reality instead of arguing with it. The moment you stop demanding that life be fair, you free yourself from constant disappointment. You stop wasting energy on what should have happened and start focusing on what you can do next. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Sarah, worked harder than almost anyone in her office. She stayed late, helped her co-workers, and consistently delivered great results. When a promotion became available, she was convinced she had earned it. But instead, it went to someone else. Sarah was devastated. For months, she replayed the situation in her head, convinced that life had treated her unfairly. And maybe it had. But eventually, she realized something important. Spending every day angry about it wasn't changing anything. So she stopped focusing on what she couldn't control and started focusing on what she could. She developed new skills, expanded her network, and created opportunities for herself. A year later, she landed a position that was even better than the one she had originally wanted. So how do you deal with life's unfairness? First, stop expecting life to follow your sense of justice. It won't. Second, accept reality without letting it make you bitter. Acceptance is not surrender, it's clarity. And finally, focus your energy on what you can control. That's where your power truly lies. At the end of the day, life was never promised to be fair. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can stop fighting reality and start working with it. Wisdom begins when you stop demanding fairness from life and start mastering your response to it. Number 3, most people think about themselves, not you. Let's talk about one of the most liberating truths you can ever accept. Most people are not thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. It sounds surprising because many of us spend a huge portion of our lives worrying about what others think. We overanalyze our mistakes, replay awkward conversations, and stress about being judged. We hesitate to speak up, take risks, or pursue our goals because we're afraid of criticism or embarrassment. But the reality is much simpler than that. Most people are too busy dealing with their own problems, insecurities, and responsibilities to spend much time focusing on yours. Here's the truth. You are the main character in your story, but everyone else is the main character in theirs. The mistake many people make is assuming that others are constantly watching, evaluating, and judging them. In reality, most people are thinking about their careers, relationships, finances, health, and personal struggles. The embarrassing moment that keeps you awake at night is probably something everyone else forgot within minutes. The flaw you're convinced everyone notices is often invisible to the people around you. Yet countless opportunities are missed because of fears that exist mostly in our imagination. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Think about how true that is. Often the fear of judgment is far worse than the judgment itself. We create scenarios in our minds where people criticize us, laugh at us, or reject us. Then we allow those imaginary situations to control our actions. The Stoics understood that much of human suffering comes not from reality, but from the stories we tell ourselves about reality. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Emily, always wanted to start posting videos online. She had knowledge, confidence, and valuable ideas to share. But every time she thought about uploading a video, she imagined people mocking her. She worried about negative comments, criticism, and what others might think. For nearly 2 years, she did nothing because of those fears. Then one day, she finally posted her first video. And do you know what happened? Almost nothing. Most people scrolled past it without a second thought. A few people supported her. Some didn't care at all. The massive judgment she feared never arrived because most people were busy living their own lives. So how do you apply this truth? First, stop assuming everyone is paying attention to you. They're usually not. Second, challenge the stories you create in your mind. Fear often exaggerates reality. And finally, give yourself permission to act despite discomfort. Don't let imaginary judgment prevent real progress. At the end of the day, most people are thinking about themselves, not you. And instead of finding that depressing, find it freeing. It means you don't need everyone's approval to live your life. It means you can stop performing, stop overthinking, and stop holding yourself back. The moment you realize that people are far less focused on you than you imagined is the moment you become truly free. Number 4, your comfort zone is slowly destroying your potential. Let's talk about something that feels safe but can quietly become one of the biggest obstacles in your life, your comfort zone. Most people think comfort is the goal. They want certainty, predictability, and security. They want to avoid failure, rejection, and discomfort. And on the surface, that makes sense. After all, nobody enjoys feeling uncomfortable. But here's the problem. The things that make you grow rarely happen inside your comfort zone. The life you want often exists just beyond the boundaries of what feels familiar. Here's the truth. What feels safe today can become a prison tomorrow. The longer you stay in the same place doing the same things, the harder it becomes to change. You convince yourself that you're being cautious, when in reality you're avoiding growth. You tell yourself you'll take the risk later, start the business later, learn the skill later, or pursue the dream later. But later has a habit of turning into years, and before you know it, you've traded your potential for temporary comfort. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius said, "The obstacle is the way." Most people see obstacles as signs to stop. The Stoics saw them as opportunities to grow. Discomfort isn't always something to avoid. Often it's a signal that you're moving beyond your limitations. Every challenge teaches you something. Every risk expands your capabilities. Every uncomfortable experience builds resilience. The obstacle standing in your path may actually be the path itself. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Ryan, worked at the same job for nearly 10 years. He wasn't miserable, but he wasn't fulfilled either. He constantly talked about starting his own business, but he never took action. Every time the idea came up, he found a reason to wait. He wanted more experience, more savings, more certainty. Years passed and nothing changed. Then one day, after seeing someone less experienced succeed in the exact field he wanted to enter, Ryan realized something painful. He wasn't waiting for the right moment. He was hiding in his comfort zone. So he finally took the leap. Was it uncomfortable? Absolutely. Did he make mistakes? Plenty. But within a few years, he had built something he was proud of. The growth he had been searching for was waiting on the other side of fear. So how do you break free from your comfort zone? First, recognize that comfort and growth rarely exist together. If something scares you in a healthy way, it may be worth pursuing. Second, stop waiting to feel ready. Most people never feel completely prepared. And finally, embrace discomfort as part of the process. Growth is supposed to feel unfamiliar. At the end of the day, your comfort zone may feel safe, but it often comes at a hidden cost. Every day spent avoiding discomfort is a day spent delaying your potential. The life you want is rarely found in what's comfortable. It's found in the challenges you're willing to face and the fears you're willing to overcome. Number 5, some people will never like you. Let's talk about a truth that many people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. Some people will never like you. It doesn't matter how kind you are, how generous you become, or how much effort you put into making others happy. There will always be people who misunderstand you, criticize you, or simply decide they don't like you. And for many people, that's a painful reality to accept. They spend years trying to win approval from everyone around them, hoping that if they're nice enough, successful enough, or agreeable enough, they'll finally be accepted by all. Here's the truth. Trying to be liked by everyone is a battle you can never win. No matter what you do, someone will disagree with your choices. Someone will judge your decisions. Someone will find fault in your personality. And the more visible you become, the more this reality reveals itself. The problem is that many people allow the fear of disapproval to control their lives. They stay quiet when they should speak. They hide their ambitions. They constantly adjust themselves to fit other people's expectations. In the process, they lose touch with who they really are. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish." Think about that. Growth often requires doing things that others won't understand. If you're constantly worried about being judged, you'll never take the actions necessary to evolve. The Stoics understood that other people's opinions are outside your control. You can control your character, your actions, and your intentions, but you cannot control how others choose to see you. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Jessica, always wanted to change careers. She had a stable job, but it wasn't what she truly wanted. When she finally decided to pursue a different path, some people supported her. But others criticized her immediately. They told her she was making a mistake. They questioned her judgment and mocked her decision. At first, Jessica was devastated. She spent months trying to explain herself and gain their approval. But eventually she realized something important. No explanation was ever going to change their minds. So she stopped seeking permission and focused on her own goals. A few years later, she was happier and more successful than she had ever been. The people who doubted her? Most of them had moved on to judging someone else. So how do you deal with people who don't like you? First, stop taking it personally. Their opinion often says more about them than it does about you. Second, stop chasing approval. Not everyone deserves a vote in your life. And finally, focus on living according to your values, not their expectations. That's where real confidence comes from. At the end of the day, some people will never like you, and that's perfectly okay. You weren't born to satisfy everyone else's preferences. The moment you stop needing universal approval is the moment you gain true freedom. Because a life spent trying to please everyone is a life spent abandoning yourself. Number 6. Time is running out faster than you think. Let's talk about one of the most uncomfortable truths most people try not to think about. Time is running out faster than you think. When you're young, it feels like you have endless time. You tell yourself you'll start next year, next month, or when the circumstances are better. You postpone your goals, delay important decisions, and assume there will always be another opportunity waiting around the corner. But then something strange happens. The years begin to move faster. The things you plan to do someday remain unfinished, and you start wondering where all that time went. Here's the truth: every day feels small, but years disappear quickly. A single day doesn't seem significant. Skipping one workout doesn't feel important. Delaying a goal for another month doesn't seem like a big deal. Putting off a difficult conversation feels harmless. But life is not shaped by individual days. It's shaped by the accumulation of them. The small delays that seem insignificant today eventually become the regrets of tomorrow. And many people don't realize this until they look back and see how much time has quietly slipped away. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Think about that. The problem isn't always a lack of time. It's how casually we spend it. We protect our money, our possessions, and our reputation, but often treat time as if it's unlimited. We give it away to distractions, procrastination, and unnecessary worries. Then we act surprised when years pass and our lives haven't changed. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him David, always dreamed of writing a book. It was something he talked about constantly. Every year he would say, "I'll start when things settle down," but life never settled down. There was always another responsibility, another distraction, another excuse. 10 years passed before he finally sat down and started writing. One day he admitted something that hit me hard. He said, "Writing the book wasn't difficult. What was difficult was realizing how much time I wasted waiting to begin." The dream hadn't disappeared. The years had. So how do you respond to this truth? First, stop assuming you have unlimited time. None of us do. Second, start acting on the things that truly matter. The perfect moment rarely arrives. And finally, remember that small actions compound. A little progress today is worth far more than perfect intentions tomorrow. At the end of the day, time is the one thing you can never get back. Money can be earned again. Opportunities can sometimes return, but a wasted year is gone forever. The life you keep postponing may never arrive if you continue waiting for the perfect moment. Start now, because one day you'll realize that later came and went without asking permission. Number 7, your excuses. Don't care about your dreams. Let's talk about one of the harshest truths most people never want to hear. Your excuses don't care about your dreams. We all have reasons for why we haven't started. Maybe you don't have enough time. Maybe you don't have enough money. Maybe you're waiting until you feel more confident, more prepared, or more motivated. And to be fair, some of those reasons sound completely valid. The problem is that while you're explaining why you can't move forward, your goals remain exactly where they are. Excuses may make you feel better temporarily, but they never move your life forward. Here's the truth. The reasons you give for not acting may sound convincing, but they don't change the outcome. Life doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards action. You can spend years talking about what you want to do, planning every detail and waiting for the perfect conditions. But at the end of the day, none of that matters if you never take the first step. The uncomfortable reality is that many people use excuses not because they truly can't act, but because excuses protect them from discomfort. If you never try, you never risk failure. If you never start, you never have to face uncertainty. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." Notice that he didn't say to wait until you feel ready. He didn't say to wait until circumstances become perfect. He said to decide who you want to become and then take the necessary action. The Stoics understood that progress comes from discipline, not excuses. Your future is shaped by what you do consistently, not by the reasons you give for avoiding it. Let me share a story. A guy I know, let's call him Brandon, always wanted to get into shape. Every year he made the same promise to himself. He'd start next month, then next month became next season. Then next season became next year. There was always a reason. Work was busy. The weather wasn't ideal. He didn't have enough energy. One day, Brandon realized something painful. His excuses had become a habit. They were so automatic that he didn't even question them anymore. So he made a simple decision. Instead of waiting for perfect conditions, he started with 10 minutes a day. That was it. Within a year, his health had completely changed, not because life became easier, but because he stopped negotiating with his excuses. So how do you overcome this? First, be honest with yourself. Ask whether your reasons are genuine obstacles or comfortable excuses. Second, stop waiting for motivation. Action often creates motivation, not the other way around. And finally, start small, but start now. Progress doesn't require perfection. It requires movement. At the end of the day, your dreams don't care how many reasons you have for delaying them. They only respond to action. The life you want will never be built through explanations, justifications, or excuses. It will be built through the choices you make when you stop talking and start doing. Number 8, people reveal their true character. During difficult times, let's talk about a truth that many people learn the hard way. People reveal their true character during difficult times. When life is going well, it's easy to believe that everyone around you is loyal, supportive, and trustworthy. When things are comfortable, relationships often seem stronger than they really are. People are happy to celebrate with you, spend time with you, and stand by your side when there is little sacrifice involved. But adversity has a way of exposing what comfort hides. Here's the truth. Anyone can be loyal when life is easy. It's easy to support someone when they're successful. It's easy to stay around when there's nothing to lose. The real test comes when things become difficult. When you face failure, loss, hardship, or uncertainty, some people will suddenly disappear. Others will become distant, and a few will remain by your side no matter what. Difficult times act like a filter, separating genuine relationships from convenient ones. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Seneca said, "Fire tests gold. Adversity tests character." The Stoics understood that challenges reveal what is hidden beneath the surface. Pressure doesn't create character, it exposes it. The same principle applies to the people around you. Hardship shows you who genuinely cares and who was only there because circumstances were easy. While this realization can be painful, it is also valuable. It's better to know the truth than to live under comforting illusions. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Lauren, had a large circle of friends. She was always invited to gatherings, always surrounded by people, and always felt supported. Then she went through a difficult period in her life. She lost her job unexpectedly and found herself struggling emotionally and financially. At first, she assumed the people around her would be there for her. But something surprising happened. Many of the friends who had always been present during good times slowly disappeared. Calls went unanswered. Invitations stopped. The people she thought were closest to her became strangers. Yet a small handful of people remained. They checked in regularly, offered support, and stayed present even when there was nothing to gain. Years later, Lauren told me that losing her job was painful, but discovering who truly cared was one of the most valuable lessons of her life. So how should you respond to this truth? First, pay attention to actions, not words. Anyone can promise loyalty when things are easy. Second, appreciate the people who stay during difficult seasons. Their presence is worth more than 100 fair-weather friendships. And finally, be that person for others. Character is revealed not only by who stands beside you, but by who you choose to stand beside when life becomes difficult. At the end of the day, hardship has a way of exposing reality. Some relationships grow stronger under pressure, while others fall apart. And while that truth can be painful, it's also incredibly freeing. The people who remain during your darkest moments are showing you exactly who they are. Believe them, value them, and never take their loyalty for granted. Number 9, you cannot change other people. Let's talk about one of the most frustrating truths in life. You cannot change other people. This is a lesson that many people spend years fighting against. We see someone making bad decisions, wasting their potential, or repeating the same mistakes, and we desperately want to help. We give advice, offer support, and invest our time and energy trying to guide them toward a better path. We convince ourselves that if we just say the right thing, love them enough, or try a little harder, they'll finally change. But more often than not, that's not how it works. Here's the truth. No amount of advice, love, or effort can force someone to grow. People change only when they decide to change. They change when they become ready, when they see the need for themselves, and when they choose to take responsibility for their own lives. Until that happens, your efforts often lead to frustration rather than results. The mistake many people make is confusing support with control. They believe they can carry someone toward a better future, but personal growth is a journey that must be chosen, not imposed. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius taught that you cannot control another person's actions, only your response to them. The Stoics understood that much of our suffering comes from trying to control things that are outside our power. Another person's choices, attitudes, and decisions belong to them. No matter how badly you want a different outcome, you cannot live someone else's life for them. The more you accept this reality, the more peace you gain. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Ethan, spent years trying to help his younger brother. His brother struggled with poor habits, made reckless decisions, and constantly ignored good advice. Ethan was always there to rescue him. He solved problems, offered money, and spent countless hours trying to convince him to change. But nothing worked. Every time his brother promised to improve, he eventually fell back into the same patterns. One day, Ethan realized something difficult. He cared more about his brother's growth than his brother did. That realization changed everything. Instead of trying to control the situation, he stepped back. He remained supportive, but he stopped carrying responsibilities that weren't his. Eventually, his brother made changes, but only when he personally decided he was ready. So how do you deal with people who refuse to change? First, accept that growth is a personal choice. You cannot force it. Second, offer support without taking ownership of someone else's life. Their decisions are not your responsibility. And finally, protect your own peace. Caring about someone doesn't mean sacrificing your emotional well-being trying to save them. At the end of the day, you can inspire people, encourage people, and support people, but you cannot change them. That power belongs to them alone. The sooner you stop trying to control another person's journey, the sooner you'll find the freedom to focus on your own.